What up, YouTube? It's your boy SK Levels coming at you with another YouTube video. Guys, I've been listening to some of your comments and your feedback, and one common question is, what is SK Levels? You may have noticed that my name has changed on the social media platforms, and the questions have been rolling in. What's with the name change? Who is SK Levels? Or what is SK? What does it stand for? So I'm just going to make this short video on what this name change is all about. So to many of you, you all know me as Travis Alope. But the truth is, that is not my real name. My real name is Shravan Alope. And the truth is, I say it's my real name. It's my birth name. It's a name that was given to me from birth. The reason why I've been known and called Travis for so long goes all the way back to when I was a young boy in school. And when I came to the UK, originally, I'm from South Africa, came to the UK and introduced myself as Shravan. And I didn't understand at the time, that the syntax behind my name, the pronunciation and the format of it was very alien to the UK. So students and teachers alike found it very difficult to pronounce my name. And so I got called all sorts of crazy alternatives. I was called Sraven, Shraven, Scriven. I don't even know how that came about. But yeah, someone apparently added a C in my name on the register, which absolutely horrified my mother and myself. I just said, well, no, that's not my name. What's the big deal with that? Why is it so impossible for people to understand my name? And as silly and as trivial as it might sound, something like that, your name, people not being able to pronounce your name, whether it's out of ignorance, a lack of effort, or simply because they cannot fathom it, that actually can make you feel so alienated. And it definitely did for me. It made me feel like as if I didn't belong in that place, as if I didn't belong in the school, or just didn't belong in the area that I was in. And it's not as if I was the only ethnic child there. It's not like it was a racist thing or it was about race. It was simply I had felt that my identity was being denied because people just could not pronounce my name properly. And as silly as that may sound, something like that definitely compounds within a person, within an individual, for a very long time. And that is something that carried on throughout my life. My name on the register would say Shravan Alope, and I would be questioned on it all the time. Even when I went through middle school, people would question, what's with this name? Why have you got such a weird looking name? Why have you got a funny name? How is it that no one can pronounce this name? And whether it was down to curiosity or people rejected it because it's unfamiliar. Because it was unfamiliar, that's why people would question it and raise a brow. Now, whether or not they meant ill, it was irrelevant, really. But for me at the time, it definitely made me feel like I stood out like a sore thumb. So I wanted to just blend in with the people that were around me. I wanted to blend in with society, but didn't quite know how until I was in grade 6 or year 6. Kids in my class that I was in school with decided to bestow upon me this name Travis, and I had no idea why. It just seemed to fit, and apparently it matched my face. If you just imagine the name Travis just appearing above my head, that apparently was a name that was fitting for my facial makeup and my personality. Apparently I looked and sounded like a Travis, and so I thought, okay, well, it's a name that everybody seems to know, people seem to understand, really uncommon for an English British person to be named Travis, but hey, it was easier to pronounce and roll off the tongue than Shravan, for them, anyways. So I went with it. And, initially it just started off to be as a nickname, like a moniker, but very soon after, especially as I went through high school, um, I noticed that it became more of my identity, and I just I got to a point where I felt as though I was discarding my own background, my own culture, you know, um, to fit into this sleeve, to fit into this new persona that I knew deep down inside wasn't really me, but it's who I wanted to become in order to be accepted into society. And I know it's so silly, but the memories of feeling as though I was not wanted, or the feeling of being seen as an outcast, be seen as, a foreigner, which naturally I am because I was not born in the UK. But all I wanted to do was just fit in. So I quite literally molded myself into something else. And my family back home, my family back in South Africa, would see these changes. People who had made a contact with me on social media, and they saw that my handle was Travis Salopia, and they asked, "Well, what's this name? Who is this? Oh, you've just decided to become like this English guy all of a sudden, and have you forgotten like who you are?" And I had this deep rooted internal conflict, this very insignificant battle for many, but to me it was real. To me it was very real. It was me battling with my identity and constantly clashing between my cultural heritage and this newfound belief system that I had convinced myself to be my culture. And it was only really until I joined the military where things started to shift, because even though I had been known as Travis all this time, my name still on my formal documentation is Shravan. And the people that I'd met in during my service in the army, who honestly are some of the greatest people I have ever come to cross paths with. I truly mean that from the bottom of my heart. You guys have honestly shown me a side to myself that was always there, but I had shut away for so long, which was, it's okay to be yourself, and it's okay to show yourself without having to feel afraid. And largely, this is, you guys are one of the reasons why I'm making these videos. Yeah, you guys served as the inspiration to allow me to be myself. I thank you wholeheartedly. Going back to why things shifted, it was because people would ask me, what's the SK stand for? And then I'd tell them that, oh, well, my name is Shravan. They'd say, well, why do you call yourself Travis? Like, your name is so unique. Why would you want to be known as something that sounds so common? And it forced me to think. And from this, I really truly do believe that each and every one of us, we're given a name, and that name carries a certain energy, it carries a certain frequency, and that frequency is the same that we should be resonating on. When you are called by a different name, or you choose to identify as a different name, you're working against the base energy that you were born with. I know it may seem a little silly, especially for those who might think that, oh, well, I've just got a plain name. A name's just a name, whatever it is. But it's a part of your identity. And if anything, this whole experience, this whole journey that I've been on, has really helped me identify parts of myself that I never thought existed. And it's shown me that when you know who you are, things become so much easier in life. If you're content with knowing yourself, then those interactions you have with other people in the world, it doesn't become so tedious to walk into an interview. Be yourself completely. And if they say, oh, well, no, we don't actually think that you're the type of candidate that we're looking for, you can say okay and walk away, because you know your self-worth. It's part of understanding your self-worth. It all begins and ends with yourself. But if you don't know who you are, or if you can't even address yourself by the name that you identify as, then that's a problem. That's the first problem. And you can't move on from that point. That's my little personal story. Guys, if you've liked this video, please hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. I truly appreciate it. And I will see you in the next one.